All right, folks, we're just going to give it a couple minutes and then we will get started. As you can see, we have a special guest with us, so we will give it a second and then we will get rolling. Hope you all are having a great day. Some of you may know who the special guest is.
What a ham.
I think in a couple minutes he's going to be tired with that.
Yeah, this isn't going to last long, I don't think, right?
Maybe as long as you got some treats on the table. Yeah. Just give it a couple more seconds and we will get rolling. We got some announcements and some plans that we're going to run by you guys. All right, looks like we can get rolling. So, welcome, guys, back to another Elvis Diner. I believe this is episode 15. So where we just come and talk Elvis, let you guys ask questions, comments. This can be a community where you guys can just have conversations in the comment section, ideas, thoughts, anything. And we're going to give you guys an update on everything that's been going on our page. And if you guys have any questions or whatever, just leave them in the comments and we will get to them right away. Okay.
Thief.
So for those of you wondering, some of you may know, this is Macon. This is our golden retriever. Dad thought it would be a good idea to bring him down as a special guest for the first half of the...
He's got things to say.
Yeah, that is Macon. He has a good connection with Elvis. He's named after Macon, Georgia, after we visited that city to do our tour of the Macon Coliseum. And it was right before we were going to pick him up, and we were still wondering on a name, and we decided Macon.
All right.
Dad's got about 4 treats left, so that's about 30 seconds that he'll still be here.
Well, let's get into what the reason we wanted to do the live tonight, kind of let everybody know that we're back, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's going to be important over the next couple weeks to kind of do some videos on, for the people that have followed us for a long period of time, just kind of reintroduce ourselves. I don't know if that's needed because they know they've known us for quite a while. But the more importantly, I think it's going to be important to get on there with the folks who are brand new to our channel and to kind of introduce ourselves to show them, what we do and that it's very different. Mm-hmm. What we do is very different, but very important to the Elvis world.
Yeah, absolutely. We've kind of been off the scene for a little bit, doing a few things, and I just graduated the Fire Academy in June, and that was the main reason that we've been off the scene. But I graduated in June, and I got a little bit more training, and and so now that training's over with the Fire Academy, we can get back out on the road and go to some places that we've been meaning to get to. We've already been planning our next couple trips on where we're going. Seeing places where Elvis performed and how they've changed over the years. So we're going to kind of give you guys an update on that, and then a couple other things.
Yeah, I see we got Juliana. She said it's her first time joining the channel, so thank you. We appreciate that. We were just talking about how for those of you that are new to our channel, we do something very different. We are on YouTube and on Instagram, and what we do is we travel the country. We've been doing this for many years, and we basically document the buildings that I think Macon's, he's tired of being here, right? So, you ready to go? You got a date? See you later.
He
All
wants
right.
his other treats.
Yeah, here's your tweet. So, we basically travel the country documenting the buildings that Elvis performed in, and we've been doing this for a long, long time. And like Michael just said, we had to take a break from being out on the road because Michael got hired by the fire department, and he's been in a training academy for a long time, it seems like, and we haven't been able to go anywhere and really do anything.
Yep.
And but our announcement tonight is that in August we're going to be hitting the road for the first trip in quite a while. So we're excited about that.
Yeah.
Always Elvis just joined.
Thank you for the congratulations. Yeah, I mean, a main reason that we've come on here is to give the good news that we're getting back on the road, but also the bad news.
Yeah, I'll leave that to you.
So the way that every fire department across the country is different, but in our area, many of the departments kind of operate the same with their schedule, and it seems kind of confusing. So I'll just kind of try my best to explain it easily. But in the department that I'm at, we work 24-hour shifts, and so I'll work 24 hours at the station. I'll have a day off. I'll work another day. I'll have a day off. I'll work a day, and then I'll have 4 days off. And it's just that continuous cycle. And my department has 3 shifts. So you have A, B, and C shift. And it's the same shift schedule. It's just, if you're off a day, then one of the other shifts works on that day. And so when I was in academy, I kind of knew that would run, depending on what shift I got, we were running the risk of, I have 3 different options on shifts that are going to fall in Elvis week. So we looked at the calendar and was like, this is the best case scenario and worst case scenario, like for each shift. And if I got this one shift, then we would be able to go. And if I got the other 2, then we wouldn't be able to go. And I got one of the other 2 shifts. So with that being said, unfortunately, we will not be going to Memphis for Elvis week. I think we have been going every year.
First time in a long time.
Since 2021 was the first. Well, we went in 2019, and then COVID, we didn't go, and then we went back in 2021, and it's been there since. But this year, we will not be able to. I work 2 days right there in the middle of Elvis week, and I don't feel comfortable taking off time from work because I'll be starting my time on the streets that week. So, unfortunately, that being said, again, we will not be going to Elvis week. But that's the bad news. But the good news is we were able to work it out that at the beginning of that week is a 4-day break for me. But it's before Elvis week begins. So we decided that we're going to use that 4-day break to hit the road and go back to doing what we're doing. We've already got a city, a building, hotel. We've got all that planned out. Everything's planned with the directors and the folks that we need to work on. We're going to be getting a couple items on that trip that we've already worked out as well. So it's back to business. But again, unfortunately, we won't be able to go to Elvis week. But by next year, I'll be able to take time off and regardless of what shift I have, we'll be able to make it down there.
Yeah, we got some fun stuff planned on that trip. Being it's our first one, we're really gonna, we typically do it right up, and we always, for those of you that are new to our channel, we always try to stay in Elvis's hotel, and we're going to do that, and we are going to document both buildings. Well, I can't say too much more, then I'd give the whole thing away, but you'll see what happens, what we do when we get there. We're going to have some fun with it. We got an item that we're going to pick up while we're out there, something that we collect in these buildings. We've already basically, got control of that. We already have it. We're going to pick it up while we're out there. We're excited about it, and then we'll show it to you when we get out there. But yeah, we're excited. Heartbroken, is to say the least, about not going. He mentioned about 2021 and then 2018, 2019, all that. For those of you that know me, know I've been going to Graceland since back in the 70s, and this one was tough. But what kind of made it doable for me is the fact that knowing the job that he's undertaking. I mean, it's pretty nice to know that the reason that we're not going is so that he can be on a job doing what he does for a living. So that was nice. And then the second thing is that we know that this job will allow us. We've talked about this before, where you could have gotten a job where you're working 5 days a week, and EP back on tour would have been basically. I don't know how we would have survived, but thank goodness all the cards fell right for us, and you got the job in the fire department. It couldn't be a better job for you to have gotten to allow us to continue doing what we're doing. So we've been blessed with this whole thing, and it looks like that we'll be just fine moving forward for years to come. Really,
Yeah. To answer Juliana's question, we have been to College Park and Largo. We went to University of Maryland, College Park before they completely
gutted it.
They gutted the building.
Yeah.
It's still standing, but they've completely gutted it, and now it's like an athletic facility. But we still went there before they.
Long before they gutted it, we were in there, and then we went back. We did a video on it where we went back, and then the Capitol Center. I went to several concerts there, non-Elvis related, but went to several concerts over there, and then that's where I met J.D. Sumner, and I got the picture right over there where JD signed it backstage. And that, boy, you talk about a memorable event for me to meet JD Sumner and have him sign that photo for me was that was pretty cool.
And we also went where we have been to, the footprint of the building. It's obviously been torn down, but we've been there since it's been torn down. But yeah, the building at College Park at University of Maryland is the same building. It's the kind of half arch building, and it's now like an athletic building, but the exterior is still the same because they have like the original like chandelier lights that hang down by the door. So yeah, it's pretty cool if you want to visit there, get some Elvis history. We have a ticket from College Park and the Capitol Center from both of those shows. So yeah.
Somebody always, Elvis was asking, are we going to attend a birthday? Again, we've got to look at his schedule. I don't know if you guys know this, but I was a fireman, and he's basically following the same calendar that I followed for 30 years. And now he's following this calendar. So we got to look at the old infamous calendar, and we got to look on there and see, what are we going to miss and what are we going to be able to attend. And but if we don't get down there we got to look at the calendar. But my offer to you was, I think we were going to try to go down at some point for maybe even a day or two to see the Christmas lights and so forth.
Because we've never been there during Christmas.
Right.
And we've been wanting to, so we figured if we didn't go to Elvis Week, we could try to make it down during Christmas time or his birthday. But the good thing, with the job that I'm in and that you were in, it's knowing what shift you're on. You know what your shift is like 2 years out.
10 years. 15 years. 20 years.
Because they can just go in there and kind of auto-populate the shift, and you'll know what shift or what schedule you have for a couple years out. So that's a plus to the.
And then somebody was saying on there, the 50th anniversary of Elvis's death is a lock for him to, or for that person to go to Graceland during. We're 2 years out.
Yeah.
So. Is that right? Yeah, 2 years out. So there's no doubt by then you'll be able to get leave or an exchange of shift, and we can go. We've got to go to that.
Absolutely.
50th anniversary of Elvis's death. We've got to be there. I was on a beach in Delaware the day Elvis died, so I want to be there 50 years to the day.
Yeah.
I want to be there. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything, just feel free to. This is kind of why we hop on here. We just let you know what we're up to. Yep. And if you guys have any questions or anything, we kind of just keep the ball rolling. I think I saw Keith Alverson texted me earlier and was saying he was going to hop on here. So Keith, I don't know if you're on here. You can let us know in the comments. Hopefully he doesn't think we're on Instagram, because he'll probably just be sitting there right now looking at nothing.
Right.
But they usually hop on here. They're really good about that, and we appreciate it.
Yeah. Once again, sorry, we're just. It's. I mean, again, I can't overstate this enough. We're heartbroken about not being in Memphis this year, but you know sometimes you got to take a hit and you got to move on. You can't dwell on it. You got to take the hit and move past it. But I think what's lessening the blow for us on that, at least for me, is we can't go to Elvis Week, but we're going to get back out on the road and do what we do. So we'll take the hit for the team. We'll go out there and document a building that we've already been to the building. We've already been to that hotel, but we're going to go back and really we're going to do a whole lot more on this.
We're making the best of a not so good situation.
Yeah, I couldn't say it any better.
So,
yeah.
But we're just happy to get back on the road. I mean, it's literally been, by that point, it'll have been like 8 months since we've been on the road. So it's just, that's how it goes, but we got through it. And
yeah. And just so you know, I think you see that we post quite a bit on, different things I try to do, like little posts where I do like Elvis heard it here first. And what I try to do there is I try to bring a different view of a song that Elvis did. I try to give you the version that he more than likely heard. Some of these songs, we'll never know exactly what version, whose version that he heard, but either somebody handed it to him and said, hey, this is a great song for you. Felton Jarvis may have handed it to him and said, hey, this would be a great song. He may have been, heard it on the radio in the car, tooling around Memphis. I mean, we don't know that. He might have been out with the guys and hey, who's that, singing that song? What song is that? And then they go out and get to 45 and go, hey, I want to do that song. So what I try to do is give you the version that he would have heard and then come back and give you the version that he did. And so show you how things changed on that. So we're going to be doing that. With Michael's help, if he can help me, I want to do a series. I haven't asked you yet, but I want to do a series on the Stack Studios, the sessions that are coming up, and making sure they're getting into some. The Stack sessions that he did in July of '73, and kind of break that session down and give you a little bit of backstory, a little bit of feedback on kind of like what was going on, what his mood was, the quality of the session, compare it to other sessions, go back and look at, Studio B, 1970s, 71, Sunset. I can't wait for that album to come out. That thing is 14 days, 2 weeks from today. We will be able to get that box here, delivered here. Can't wait for that. That's going to be awesome. What you got?
I want to know what Macon is up to, because
he's liking being down here. They can't see him on there, but he's enjoying it.
I don't think he's got enough space to get back here. He's interested. Yeah, we got our dog Macon and Dad down here for the first time, and
Let's see if we can get him in it. Come here.
He has no idea.
He's not coming back there.
But yeah, we're excited. Get back out on the road. The place that we're going to has been, well documented, with the Elvis story and everything. It's not just a building that he went there and performed. It's got a lot of stories with it and a lot of history there. So it'll be a very beefy kind of video with knowledge and everything.
Yeah, I think the difference with us, for those of you that are gonna, you're either watching now or you're gonna tune in later to the YouTube thing and watch it later. The thing with us, there's a lot of videos out there. A lot of people do a lot of good jobs. They show a lot of cool stuff. But the big thing with us is we actually go inside the buildings. Anybody can pass by and take a picture and say, hey, there's where Elvis, there's the door he went in, and then, okay, we're going to move on. We actually go in these buildings and show you the insides of some of these buildings, as we've talked about in the past. Some of these buildings have not changed at all. I mean, literally, they look exactly like the day, and we've been told that by the people that work there. We haven't done anything to this building. We went to Rapid City. That building looked exactly like it did when the CBS special was shot. Some of these buildings have been totally gutted, and the only thing that remains are the four walls that hold the place up and the roof. I mean, other than that, it's been gutted. So, but we take pride in the fact that we do a little bit of groundwork before, and we get in the building, and we can show you what it looks like inside, rather than just giving you a blow by. Here's a picture of it. There it is. We give you the inside scoop on it, and a little bit of background, a little bit of history.
Yeah. And there's going to be plenty of that with the city that we're going to. So
Yeah.
again, we're looking forward to that. And still bummed that we can't go to Elvis Week, but we're making the best out of that situation by getting back out on the road. And then as the fall rolls around, we'll probably be able to hit a city or two here and there. Again, because of my schedule, I got those 4-day breaks every week.
Yeah, I think we looked at your schedule. We got and combine it with my work schedule. I think we've got a date coming up in September where we're going to hit the road one more time. Mm-hmm. And then typically we don't hit the road for these tours in the dead of winter, but we will try to work it out to get down to Memphis for the Christmas lights. Mm-hmm. And then spring we'll be back out there again. And then we're heading to some big places. From this point out, we're heading to some big places. So that's we can't tell you where those are going to be, but we're heading to some big venues, and we're looking forward to it. So
yeah. Had someone just join on, lives in Huntsville. Hopefully you've seen all of our videos. We've got like 8 videos on Huntsville. We got all the Huntsville session videos, and got the tour there with Keith, George, Marcia, Bruce, and George, and all them. And then we did the one with just Keith. So we got quite a few videos on Braun Center there.
Huntsville, as you know, that's one of my favorite cities that Elvis performed in. One of my favorite cities to go to. That's a great place. Great place.
Yeah. So, I'm wondering, have any of you guys pre-ordered the Sunset box set that is coming out? Because we did, so we're excited to get that one. Here. Yep, we got Keith in here. So Keith, thank you for joining. Unfortunately, we're going to be missing you at Elvis Week, but we'll be there next year, maybe during the birthday. So we'll have to see how that plays out.
Yep, we'll be there, and if we wait too long, we're just going to come to Atlanta and see you.
Yeah. So far, at this rate, we've seen Keith almost like twice a year, because it was Elvis Week and then Huntsville and all that.
Yep.
I feel like the last couple lives we've done, somebody's brought the Baz Luhrmann stuff up, but it's pretty much the same answer every time. We're excited for all the extra footage that's going to come out, but we're kind of on the same page where it's like we feel that there's always this big announcement, and it comes out and it's not really anything like it's. We feel like it's just the same. At least for me, I guess I feel like it's the same announcement, and there's nothing really new that's come out. And
I think, to be honest, I'll just give my honest opinion on this. I don't hold back on some of the stuff. I'll tell you, and I think Keith will back me up on this. Maybe he get mad for me saying this, but I think for a new fan, not you because you're with me on this, but I think a lot of new fans who are younger, they can wait. The clock's not ticking so fast for them because they got time to wait. So if it's another 2 or 3 years, okay, so what? But for a lot of these fans, man, that bought the tickets and went to the shows, and like Keith, in Keith's situation, he took all these pictures, and these are the people, me included. We want to see this stuff. It's we don't have 20 years to sit here and wait around to see this stuff. I'm just tired of the constant like luring in, hey, it's coming. This stuff is from 1972. it's it's a long time that's passed by. So a lot of these fans like Keith and myself, and we want to see this stuff now. So
Yeah.
I'm going to take a break because I don't know where my dog just went. So I'm going to go get him and
You mean I get my own spotlight moment?
deal with him, and you're on your own. So I'll be back. Have fun.
Are you getting a seat out of the arena that you will be visiting?
Nope.
It's kind of a complicated answer, so you're just going to have to wait and see. Luckily, you don't have to wait too long because we're less than a month away. We're going to be going, I think we're going to be going around the 9th or 10th of August, so not that far out. So luckily, you don't have to wait, a long time. But we'll be doing. We got so much new equipment over the 8 months that I was in academy. So much new equipment. We're going to be doing lives and photos and posts and all that stuff while we're out there because we were just so eager to get our stuff back out there on our account and all that. So definitely this trip will, we're also, I'm trying to do, over the last maybe like year, I've been trying to develop a website for us and some merchandise that we could sell to you guys if you're interested. Because we're trying to with the 8 months of us kind of being off the scene, we kind of want to, come back, stronger than ever and, have a lot to offer you guys. So that's something that we're trying to work on. And if we can, get that all worked out, we'll let you guys know the details about that. But we're just trying to offer you guys more than when we left back in the last fall. So
I found the dog.
probably in a trash
You
can.
didn't chew up stuff out of a trash can.
That's about right.
So
Yeah, so the Baz Luhrmann stuff, hopefully we'll, get it out there. I'm just eager to see, and we've talked about this. Dad and I have talked about this. How we've been to out of all the, I guess as a whole, we've been to a majority of the buildings from that April '72 tour, with the exception of the ones that have been torn down. I mean, there was a few that were torn down before I was even born, but we're eager to see with Hampton Roads what footage was filmed there that wasn't used. I'm sure that there was backstage footage of him at Hampton, and we've walked the path that he took, and it'll be interesting to see what all the footage of the places that we've been, because then we're going to look at it and be like, oh, we stood right there and never knew that there was footage.
well, when we did the Charlotte video, we traveled down to Charlotte and we lined up the fact that some of that footage where they're wheeling in, the road crew was wheeling in that stuff. And I made a statement at one point. I said, I don't know if it was a post that I did or something I said on here, but I made a statement where I said, there could be a show from Charlotte. There could be a film from Charlotte. And man, somebody came on here and literally just chewed me out and said, you don't know what you're talking about. There's no way that there. So then we found that picture. Mm-hmm. Remember where where they have the, the one I'm talking about, where they have all those the reels behind them on the wall, and it had all these places listed. There was a box up there, a film reel that said Charlotte, and I'm thinking, it's a pretty big box just to film a guy, bringing in a sound cart, or speaker cart up the ramp. I don't know. And that's what I said to the guy on the, on the post. I go, were you there? How do you know? Do you know the people that film the stuff? I don't know. Who knows what's out there?
Yeah.
Who knows what's in that salt mine? I don't know. We might find some stuff where they're going, man, we're going to surprise you. There's all these shows that were actually filmed, because I think the argument on the Charlotte was, no, they were just practicing with handheld cameras and stuff like that. Okay, well, show that.
Yeah,
it's filmed. Yeah. Show it. Yeah. I don't care if it was filmed.
Yeah, and I mean, Charlotte is kind of out of that whole tour. Charlotte and maybe Indianapolis as well. Even though I don't know. But Charlotte's kind of considered the lost concert because there's like nothing from that show.
I'm glad you said that because I think it was a post. I said lost concert, and man, dude, I got ripped on that one, and I came back. I said, well, rip me all you want, but I'm telling you, they film stuff in there. I just don't think that they're going to set up. This is my personal opinion, and there might not be anything from there. But what I'm saying is that I don't think they set up their stuff to film a guy wheeling in. If you watch Elvis on tour, they're wheeling in
It's
that.
it's the scene during I John where they're singing I John,
Exactly.
and it's the guys wheeling the case up the ramp and
Yep.
they're putting stuff on the stage
Yep.
and they're flipping all the
Yep.
lights on. That's the scene that's all Charlotte, North Carolina.
And you have to understand when you watch Elvis back on tour, when you watch Elvis on tour, that thing, we talked about this 1,000 times. That thing was edited beyond belief.
Mm-hmm.
You're sitting there watching, and they flip to the next scene. I'll give you an example. Like when you're watching, was it Bridge Over Troubled Water? They show the ceiling of Hampton,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then they drop down, and he's in Greensboro. So you're thinking, so did he wear that suit in Hampton at the Hampton Coliseum? No, he didn't. They edited the film. You were the one that when we documented the building in Greensboro, you were the one that figured out that they edited that film because it was flipped. If you want to see a cool video, go to our YouTube site and go back to the Greensboro. You'll get to hear a really cool. I'm doing the voiceover out in the front of the building, and remember that car that was crazy, but that car goes buzzing by. But anyway, go back and look at that video, and you'll see a really cool video that we did on that building where we talk about the editing of that. And you picked up on that they flipped it; it was reversed.
Yep.
So
yeah, I mean, I will say, so like the first diner, if you go back and look at our first diner, we were like, okay, let's have like a draw for people to like watch this. And so our the first diner that we did was kind of breaking down Elvis on tour. And I will say there was a lot of time, like I was prepared with the like the scenes, because we went into Elvis on tour and it was like, all right, a lot of people have seen these clips, but where were each of these clips filmed? I was prepared with that, but there was a lot of times where I didn't know, like, if I like the suit that we were discussing, I didn't know like all the cities. So there's a lot of parts where like it looks like I wasn't prepared. But my point being is there's like, I think it's a scene right before they come. It's like when he finished Can't Help Falling in Love, and they come like barreling around that corner down the ramp. Well, if you look right before that, when they pull him off the stage, that's Buffalo.
Right.
And then it cuts to Knoxville.
So you think you're Buffalo, but
yeah.
You're really Knoxville.
And the way that you had to do that was, he wore the same suit, but look at the belt. And, the belt changed, and you're able to see like the lights at Buffalo. And I mean, there you go. I mean, they had professional footage there in Buffalo.
Yeah, but take a little credit. I'm going to tell you, this guy right here is an investigator beyond belief, because we've gone in these buildings and we get to go backstage and we're trying to lock in on a lot of times these people can tell us, hey, it's been passed down for 50 years. This is the dressing room that he used.
Mm-hmm.
My best example of this is we knew when we went to Montgomery, we knew what we had to see,
mm-hmm.
but it was finding it. And little Mr. Investigator over here, he's like, hey, Dad, got it. I'll never forget that, because we're looking. And it was where the picture was taken with Wallace backstage. The switch was the same. The vent on the wall was the same. The door was the same. The door hadn't been changed. If you go to Montgomery right now and you go back there, it's the same door.
Mm-hmm.
And so your investigative skills on this has been a large part of what we're about, because you found a lot of this stuff. Well, you went in there on that particular film And the reason that you were able to really lock it down to Knoxville is tell them about the police helmets.
Yeah, I mean, if you go on to, I don't know necessarily exactly what scene that is. It might be the scene that I'm referring to, the Can't Help Falling in Love. But anyway, there's a scene where it cuts to shots of policemen. There were motorcyclist policemen with the silver helmets. And when I was trying to find all these scenes out, I was like, all right, where is this? And I look and I paused the video right when there was a camera flash and it lit up the whole person. And I was like, all right, what? Like I could see you can see like an eagle insignia like on the side, and everything. And I was like, all right, what are? And then I just went in and I looked at every single city from that tour, and I said, this city, 1970 police motorcycle helmet, and I would just yeah, and it ended up being Knoxville, and I think there's a couple other shots where you can see like the roof was a bowed arched roof,
and we've been there.
Yeah.
We were there before they tore the building down. We've been there since they've torn the building down. But that scene in Elvis on Tour, we were able to do a lot of investigative work and figure out exactly, because they edited the crap out of that movie, and you're sitting there thinking, "Oh, he's coming off stage in Buffalo," and because you and I go to these buildings, we can look and say, "No, that's definitely not Buffalo," because we've been, we've been to these different cities, and we know kind of like what, maybe like the lighting, or maybe the way the stage was set up or whatever. When he's coming off that stage in that scene where he barely, it's the guy's life was in jeopardy that night because they were coming, man. They were coming after him. He barely made it in the car.
Yeah.
That's Knoxville, Tennessee.
Yeah. And like another thing that I would look at is like, even if I took all of the Elvis aspect out of it, I would look at, because I think with that suit, he wore it in Buffalo, Hampton, Knoxville, and Indianapolis. I would go to those four cities. The way that I do it, I have all four tabs open on my computer. I would type in the building, and I would say like photos of it and everything. And I would say, all right, in that scene, when he gets in the car, he goes down a ramp, and then you're like, all right, look at the outside of the building. What ways? And if you look at Knoxville, the way the building was set on a hill, so like the front entrance was high, and then the bottom was really low. So it was a tunnel that they went down to get to the lower part of the street. But things like that, and I mean like the scene where he's walking through the hallways, Macon, Georgia, and then when he's coming out that door that cuts to Jacksonville. Different things like that. And funny story, there maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, there was a guy that came out with an Elvis on Tour anniversary book. It was maybe about that big, and the guy actually contacted me and was like, "Hey, I need help. I saw your first diner, where you broke down Elvis on Tour. I'm trying to do the same thing for this book. Can you help me figure out a couple of these places?" I said, "Sure." So he lived overseas. I think he lived overseas. And so I was on the phone with him, and he was showing me the scenes that he needed. And I was like, all right, let me see what I can find. And I was doing all this research. And one of the scenes that he was trying to figure out was at the beginning when Jackie Kane's on the stage and it shows his car pulling in. And right before it cuts to Little Rock, when his car's pulling in, the garage coming down, we're like, all right, where is that? Because you don't see Elvis or anybody, but you do see like Dick Grove get out of the car. And so I noticed these windows in the back by the door, and I'm like, all right, I got to start with every single one.
Right.
And because they were really long, like almost floor to ceiling windows, we concluded that it was San Antonio, because if you look at a picture of the original San Antonio Convention Center, it was a circular building that had really long, narrow windows. So, fun fact, if you didn't know, that is the scene where Elvis's car is pulling in right before it cuts to Little Rock. That is that's San Antonio. And the thing with that is, they could come out, and which I seriously doubt, because no other building looked like that. But you're not going to know until you see him if there's footage that we have yet to see that is going to come out what suit he was wearing.
It makes us pretty proud, to be honest with you, when we can pick up on this bizarre stuff. To some people, the big deal. You went to a building where you performed, but to us, it's huge. It's these buildings have really come to mean something to us, and we don't find it corny at all because we're walking. Uh, we go in these places. I think next to Rapid City, I think for me, Little Rock probably was the most just really kind of moved me because you've got the footage. We had the footage in Rapid City of him, backstage.
Mm-hmm.
Little Rock was really cool because that's where, they're showing that stuff. And then so many people, you remember what led to that trip was that so many people were coming out saying that was not shot at Little Rock because the one guy came out and said, I've been to this, it was on that what do they call it, chat room, and he said
it was on Mr. Paul Sweeney's.
Yeah, he came on there and said that I've been to that building. I've been in every room in that building, and we went there. And I told Michael, I said, we are going to disprove this whole thing because that was shot. Somebody was saying it was shot in Richmond. I said, absolutely not shot in Richmond because we've been there. And then somebody said it was shot. What was the other one there was another one that they said this. We said, nope, we've been there too. Not shot there. Wasn't shot in Richmond because Richmond doesn't have any windows.
Yeah.
And I said, I guarantee you it was shot in Little Rock. And we went there and the guy said, I can take you. We got with the director, which we always do. He took us back. He said, I can tell you why that they never found it because we've reconfigured the rooms. But he said, if we go in this door here, I can put you exactly where Elvis was standing. And I stood exactly where he was standing. That was the coolest thing. You want to see a cool video, go and take a look at the Little Rock video that we did 3 years ago, right?
I also stood there, by the way. And two, just in case people were confused, when I said Paul Sweeney, he was not the one that was arguing with us. It was on I can't think of the name. The discussion board.
Yeah,
that was on there.
Let's welcome Paul Sweeney, our brother Paul.
Yeah.
That's a good friend of ours.
Yeah, absolutely.
We really love Paul. He's a good guy.
And he was asking about the scarf. We actually went into a little bit of detail on our last episode of Diner, but we'll let you know. So this white one that you see up here, we've had for a while. This was from St. Paul 77, and we just acquired this one maybe about a month or two ago. And that is from Lincoln, 1977. Obviously, it was the only time I was there.
Yeah.
But that was from Lincoln, Nebraska. When you take it out of the frame, there's a couple spots on there like makeup,
and mascara.
Because they thought, I think him and the crew thought that they were going to be filmed for the TV special. So I think they kind of did up Elvis. So there's some makeup spots on there.
Yeah, there's a story behind that whole deal too. That was part of the last tour, and they we've heard the story on that. They got into basically it was like a push and shove match right there in Lincoln just prior to the show because they thought that they were going to be filming, and then the Civic Center there said, no, you're not going to film here. Yeah. And they got into like a shoving match there where it was, we're going to film. No, you can't film. You're not allowed to film. They didn't film.
The only thing that they did was outside of the building.
Outside of the building. Pershing Memorial. It's all gone now.
We've
been there.
Went right before they tore it down. But the picture in the middle is him. It's obviously kind of impossible to tell if that's the scarf in the picture, but he is wearing a blue scarf in that photo, so we just added that photo in there too. But we show you like the pictures and all that in the last episode.
Hey, and I want to run something by Paul. He sent me a thing earlier today, and he said, you're gonna have to help me with this geographically because I don't know, where are you at, Paul? I don't know. I said, I was joking around with him. I sent him a message. I said, I love pie too. I don't know where he's at, but it was kind of like a dad joke. We didn't get it, but Paul got it.
The discussion forum is what we're referring to. That was terrible when that whole thing went down, but luckily you were able to get the photo, the Candid Central back up. that's always been a big help to us. Prince Edward Island.
Oh, okay. I still don't know where that is, but I'm glad that he's there. I'm glad he's with his family. Where's that at, Paul? Can you help us out on that? You got to understand, since I've been alive, my exciting places to go are Dayton, Ohio, Lincoln, Nebraska, all the
Hey, well,
places Elvis. Hey, all the places Elvis went, right?
and I was gonna say, we would. There's so many things in this country that we wouldn't have seen not doing this.
100%.
I mean, it's like I don't know why this just popped in my head, but like when we were in 2020 doing our Texas trip, we went to Cisco, Texas, and that's where the first Hilton hotel
Exactly.
started.
Right.
It was Conrad Hilton had the first Hilton hotel, and it was like a 2-story little couple rooms in there. And the mayor of Cisco, and it was only a town of like a couple hundred people.
Yeah.
She was the one that kind of ran the little museum thing. And it was like we would have never gone to. I mean, Cisco is in the middle of nowhere, Texas, I think, and it was like what a cool connection because I mean,
Yeah.
pretty much the one hotel chain for the most part that Elvis stayed in was Hilton's,
Hilton.
and it was just so cool that we got to make that connection. But again, there's so many places that we've gone that we would not have gone to if we hadn't been doing what we were doing.
I'll agree with that. And
There's still so much more to see.
which, yeah. And now that you got this job, we're going to go out there and see it. So I can't be thankful enough that you got the job with the fire department, and that's going to allow us to, you put in a couple of days leave and we can still go out and do a long trip like we used to do. The longest trips that we used to do, I think the Texas trip was probably the longest that we ever did. I think we're out there, like 13 days or something like that?
Well, that one back in 2016, we drove like all the way up north, we crossed over like all those Michigan, Indiana, and all that, and then we drove all the way to Denver and then cut back across.
Went through Cheyenne, Wyoming, and we did all that stuff. So yeah, that was, and again, thanks to Elvis, man. I mean, honestly.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that 2016 trip was really cool because we got to go to Denver and the Rockies and all that stuff. And when we go to some of these cities, if we have the time, we try to do stuff specific to that area.
A lot of times we don't have the time. When we were doing those big trips like that, it's we actually felt like kind of what Elvis would have felt when he was on tour, because what we had to do is usually on those long trips like Texas, we were doing 2 venues a day. So we would be in, I'm just making up, like we'd be in Abilene, and we'd have to be in Amarillo by the afternoon so we could do we were already scheduled in there. But man, that was fun. That was fun. But we got a lot more of that coming up.
Speaking of Cheyenne, shout out to my Lane Frost hat. If you guys want to hear who that is, look it up. So we'll we've kind of said everything that we wanted to say coming on here. Again, for those of you that didn't watch, that didn't join earlier, unfortunately, we will not be able to make it to Elvis Week this year because of my work schedule. But with that being said, we're making the best out of that situation. Earlier in that week, my schedule allows for us to go on a trip. So we already have a building, hotel, some artifacts, and all that set up. So that's already 100%. And we're going to be posting all that kind of stuff later on. And we're
doing some lives from out there.
We're doing lives, like I was telling them when you were getting Macon. I said, in the 8 months that we've been here and haven't been on the road, I said we've gotten a whole bunch of new equipment that's going to add to our videos and all that, better equipment, and we're going to do it up. We might have some merchandise coming out, maybe a new website. So I'll have to doing a little work on that. It's going to have some cool features. If you guys, once we get that out, you guys can check that out, but I'll throw all the details out there. Keith and I will hold the Memphis Fort down for you. That's one. We're really upset that we can't go to that
It's rough,
collector
man.
show.
I don't even like talking about it, to be honest.
Literally, anytime we were down there and we had an hour where we didn't know what to do, we just go back there and just hang out with them. And so we'll just have to wait till next year, and maybe, like we said, we're going to try to look at maybe going down during Christmas or the birthday week, but we just have to see how our schedules align with that.
But definitely next year, we will definitely be
Yes.
there next year because he'll be in a position then where he'll be on the job long enough where he can put in leave, and we'll be there.
Yeah.
We will be there.
Yeah.
So.
But the bigger picture here is, I graduated the fire academy at the end of June, and I still have, at least for my department specifically, I have an additional couple weeks left of training, and then I go onto the streets, onto the shift work. But again, the bigger picture is, starting about second weekend in August, we're pretty much back, as to where we were. We're going to be more videos, posts, more interaction on Instagram. We're going to be doing more, Q&As, polls, like song of the days, more videos on YouTube, and just we're going to be back to where before I started the academy, and that's what we kind of wanted to come on here and say is we're going to be starting all that kind of like the revival back with a trip out on the road.
Well, in fact, with your help, we're going to be coming back on here pretty soon.
Yes.
Because we're going to do that. We want to come on here and have a diner about the anniversary of the stack sessions. Yes. And you and I have talked about that. I've got a lot of stuff lined up. I want to talk about the different songs. Kind of want to just have a discussion about like Elvis's mood. I want to talk about the quality of the material that he was, putting down. I've got some thoughts on some things that I want to share with you and see what you guys, if you guys agree with me or don't. We, we're not that site that talks down to people like we know it all. We're going to throw out there like a thought that we have, and then just open it up to discussion. And maybe you guys can teach us a few things, but we just want to have a discussion about like the stack sessions because I've got some opinions on the different sessions, quality and the material and stuff like that. I just think it'd be fun to do that. So that'll be our next time coming back.
Yeah, and like Paul was saying, we've never been during Christmas time, so we're hopefully looking at going around during that time, maybe in December during the birthday. But again, we have to look at our schedule, see how that plays out.
Right.
But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. The key takeaways. Unfortunately, no Elvis week, but we're making up for that. We're going back on the road to do a trip, and we're gonna. Obviously, we never share where we're going, but like I said, we got the building set up, hotel set up, a couple pieces of merchandise from the buildings, and we're going to be sharing all that. We're going to be doing some really good videos, and the material quality will be better because of the equipment that we have.
Yeah. I like these lights that you bought to bring in here. You said you got the blue one to make me look younger. Is that what you said?
If that's what you thought I said, then that's what I said.
What you said.
So yeah, if you guys have any last minute questions, feel free to kind of. So I do want to mention this kind of has a tad bit to do with Elvis, but it's not really focused on Elvis specifically, but there's a connection there. There's a young couple on YouTube that my fiance and I watch. I'll give a shout out if you guys want to check his YouTube. His name is Ryan Trahan, and he just does everyday kind of videos. He's got I think like 12 million subscribers on YouTube. Very down to earth kind of guy. He's very nice to people, but him and his wife are doing a thing because he's got the money and time to do this because YouTube is what he does for a living. But they are going around the country and they are going to the best Airbnb in each state in this country for 50 days. So there's 50 states. So they go to a new state every single day. And they've been posting a video every single day since they started. They're about, I think, a little over halfway through that challenge. The reason I'm bringing this up is the entire course is for charity for St. Jude's. So people go on there and they donate money. And I think, don't quote me on this because it's gone up ridiculous. I mean, companies and organizations are donating like tens of thousands of dollars, but I think since they started about 35 days ago, I think they're up to about $5 million that they've raised in donations for St. Jude's.
Wow.
And every time I watch these videos, I think of Elvis because I mean he was big with St. Jude.
Right.
So you're probably going to see once this is all over. I guarantee you they're going to hit $10 million in donation. I mean, it not even from organizations, but I've seen on there people are just giving $1, $2, and I guarantee you're going to see something come out about him, donating that much. But I just thought of Elvis because he was so big with St. Jude's.
I'll say this before we sign off. When I see these things on the news, like the devastation in Texas,
Mm-hmm.
and when you think of the touring that Elvis did in Texas,
100%.
Texas, and I've said this in post, I've said it on lives, I've said it on videos that we do. Texas was Elvis's cornerstone.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about back in 50, 54, 55, you go back and look at those tour dates. Sometimes 2, 3, 4 shows a day in different parts of Texas and stuff like that, and then all through the South and everything. I guess my point, what I'm trying to say, not to get too far off the subject, but when these things happen, I always try to take the spirit of Elvis. If you're an Elvis fan, it should be real easy to open up your wallet and give $5.
Yeah.
When you think, when we're sitting here and we're talking about, we're such big Elvis fans and everything. Well, you know what? Consider giving to, like, St. Jude's. Consider giving to the, I don't know if you guys know this, but where the Baptist Memorial Hospital is, we went by it. They got the Elvis Presley Trauma Center.
Yeah.
Look these places up, and you know what? What would be really cool? I've always said this, and I'm not preaching here. I'm making a suggestion. I'm saying when you see these things happen, if you send $5 in and do it in the name of Elvis, I think that would be cool, right? And so we did. What was the last one we did? North Carolina. We did a deal on that, and when they got hit,
with the flooding.
yeah, with the flooding and everything, you just kind of think about stuff like that when you see these tragedies take place. And again, not preaching, not saying I think that you should do this. I'm saying consider it. I'm saying because that's the spirit that Elvis was always looking to give to something. Elvis was always looking, the Kuili Cancer Fund, the Aloha from Hawaii. That's what that was about.
Paid his own ticket.
Paid his own ticket to do his own show. Yeah. And Jackson, Mississippi, we've been to that building. Yeah. When he's back there, handing over the check from the show. When you see this stuff happen, consider just giving a little, throwing $5 in there and saying it's from Elvis.
And there's there's those pictures, I think it was from the 60s when he was down in Memphis at I think it was like the courthouse or something, and he was donating to all those local charities, and there's a picture of him holding up all the checks. I mean, that's just what he was about. But yeah, I was thinking about that, and I thought of St. Jude's, and I looked it up, and they're almost him and his wife have almost got $6 million in donations for St. Jude's. So
that's a great donation to make. I mean, that's an upstanding place. I mean, that's been around forever, so it's a good place to put some money.
Yeah, if any of you were in the States, you look up Ryan Trahan on YouTube. You can see if he's been to your state yet. But yeah, so we'll start wrapping this up, and if you guys have any last questions or comments or anything, we'll read them. But we'll start closing up. And if you guys kind of joined late in the live, we're gonna post this in its entirety on our YouTube channel, so you can watch it afterwards. And if you want a little bit more detail on our blue scarf, if you check out the last episode, I think it's episode 14, then we'll go in a little bit more detail on our scarf, and we do some close-ups and all that of it so you can see it a little bit better. And I think we do that kind of close at the beginning of the video, so you can watch it there.
Last thing I'll say is one thing that you guys can do that, people like Paul and you guys, anybody that has a site, one way you could really help us out is to, we've been off the grid for quite a while, which is something we never had to do before. We were always, bam, bam, bam. We just kept going. But we've been off the grid for quite a while. If you guys could do us a favor and go on your sites and kind of get the word back out there that starting next month, we're back and we shouldn't have to stop, except for some unforeseen circumstance that would be out of our control. We're back and we're going to be going to all these new cities now. From here out, pretty much new cities that people haven't seen. So If you guys could get the word out, and for people that are watching right now, and for people who will watch this, tomorrow or next week, if you guys could do us a favor and please go on your site, get the word out, and say, "Hey, we're going to be back. We're coming with new material." That would be a big help to us.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're just glad to be back.
Yeah. Unless you have anything else, I think that's about it.
They'll see us in July, the week of July 21st, because that's the anniversary of the Stack Studios sessions. That's when we'll come back. I don't know if it'll be the 21st. I got to get with Michael and see what date would work best for him with his schedule, and then we'll go from there. But we'll do a live, and we'll kind of just have a nice discussion back and forth, kind of in the spirit of the diner, where you guys come in and we just talk about the sessions.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, so we're gonna we'll probably be back here before we head out on our trip. But like I said, it's gonna be, I think, the 9th or 10th of August.
10th.
10th.
We leave the 10th.
Yep, 10th of August. So we're gonna post, before that, kind of letting you guys know. But just keep an eye out. I know people are gonna be traveling for Elvis week, but we're gonna kind of keep our part of the Elvis community out there, and try to do as many posts and lives and all that as we can. So just keep an eye out on our page around the 10th of August, and you'll see where we're going, what we're doing, what we're getting. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to us on Instagram. And you can also reach out to us at epbackontour@gmail.com. That's probably a quicker way to get a response from us. But we really appreciate you guys watching. Again, sorry we can't make it down there during Elvis week, but we're getting back out on the road, making the best of that situation, and getting back to what we're doing. And it's kind of just business as usual. So we're happy to be back, and we thank you guys for joining our diner tonight.
Thank you, guys.